Donald Trump promised that tariffs would make America richer. Remember those campaign promises? He said they would force foreign countries to negotiate, they will bring factories back to the United States, protect American workers, and even reduce America's trade deficit. But now, Trump's trade war is colliding with something that is much harder to bully into submission: the reality of economics, of course. And nowhere is that becoming more obvious than in America's relationship with Canada. The United States and Canada are not distant economic competitors, by the way. They're among the most deeply integrated economies on Earth. Factories, farms, energy companies, automakers, and suppliers have spent decades building cross-border supply chains. And now Washington is deliberately putting that system under enormous stress. On August the 22nd, the Trump administration imposed 50% tariff on roughly $20 billion of Canadian goods after trade negotiations between Washington and Ottawa collapsed. Canada has responded already. On August the 25th, Ottawa announced approximately 27.6 billion Canadian dollars, which is nearly 20 billion US dollars, of retaliatory tariffs on American products, covering more than 700 categories of goods. The measures include tariffs ranging from 15% to 50% on products such as steel, aluminum, furniture, clothing, appliances, electronics, seafood, and other goods. And this is where Trump's strategy starts to look increasingly self-defeating, because tariffs aren't magic. Tariffs aren't magic. They don't make foreign products disappear. They make them more expensive for American consumers. And when the imported product is an input, is an essential input that is used by an American company, the cost doesn't necessarily stop at the border. It moves through the supply chain. Eventually, somebody has to pay. Sometimes that's the importer, sometimes it's the manufacturer, and of course, very often, at least part of the cost reaches the consumer. It reaches us. So the first uncomfortable question for Trump's trade policy is very simple. If tariffs raise the cost of imported goods and inputs, how exactly does that make American consumers richer? Please explain. Now, consider automobiles, for example. This is where the situation becomes particularly absurd. A modern North American automobile isn't simply Canadian or American. Parts cross borders repeatedly. Engines, transmissions, components, steel, and other inputs move through an integrated manufacturing system that involves the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So the North American automotive industry has roughly $280 billion in annual intra-US MCA trade, which illustrates just how deeply integrated the system has become. Trump's answer is essentially just move production to the United States, but that is easier said than done. You cannot rebuild decades of supply chains with a presidential announcement. Factories require billions of dollars. Well, maybe if we didn't spend billions of dollars bombing other nations, we could have invested those billions of dollars of taxpayer money into our domestic infrastructure. We could have built those factories. Of course, suppliers need to relocate too. Workers need to be trained. Transportation networks need to be redesigned. They need to be modernized. Contracts need to be rewritten, and all of this takes years. Now, meanwhile, consumers still need cars today. And that's why Trump's threat to impose 50% tariffs on Canadian automobiles, trucks, and auto parts beginning January 1st of 2027 could create an especially serious problem. Instead of instantly bringing factories home, tariffs can initially make production more expensive. And when production becomes more expensive, companies have effectively three choices. They can absorb the cost, they can reduce investment, or raise prices. None of these outcomes sound particularly revolutionary. This is not news. And there is another irony too. Trump says that he wants to strengthen American manufacturing, but American manufacturers themselves frequently rely on Canadian inputs. So Washington has no idea what's going on in reality. Washington can end up imposing a tax on the very companies that it claims to be protecting. That is the central contradiction of the trade war that we see unfolding in front of our eyes. You cannot make American industry more competitive simply by making its inputs more expensive. That's not how reality works. Now, let's take a look at Canada next. Canada certainly has more to lose from a prolonged trade war than the United States because it is far more dependent on the American market. But that does not mean that Canada has no alternatives. In fact, something potentially important has already begun happening. Canadian trade with the United States declined in 2025 amid tariffs and trade policy uncertainty, while Canada's exports to non-US markets increased. You see, countries are looking for alternatives as the result of Washington's aggressive policies, and guess what? They are finding better alternatives. Canadian government says the non-US share of Canadian exports reached its highest level in more than 4 decades. That is a warning sign for Washington because tariffs don't just change prices, they change behavior. If Canadian companies begin deciding that relying almost exclusively on the American market is just too risky, they will look elsewhere. If Canadian consumers begin deliberately choosing Canadian products over American ones, American exporters lose market share. And if businesses begin restructuring supply chains around, let's say, Europe and Asia, some of that economic integration may never return. So, in other words, Trump may be trying to make the United States less dependent on Canada while simultaneously encouraging Canada to become less dependent on the United States. And that is a remarkable strategic outcome, isn't it? And then there is retaliation. Canada is not imposing tariffs because it wants US goods to become more expensive. It's doing it because retaliation is the traditional response to tariffs. Washington imposes a tariff and Canada retaliates. That's basically the story. American exporters lose access and Washington responds again. It is a vicious cycle. And suddenly, both countries are taxing each other's economies. That's how a trade dispute becomes a trade war. And that is exactly what we're watching right now. The consequences could extend far beyond Canada, of course. The United States is already dealing with inflationary pressures, as I just discussed with one of the most prominent economists in the United States, Dr. Steve Hanke. Check out that interview if you haven't already. Adding another layer of tariffs risks increasing costs at precisely the moment policymakers are trying to prevent inflation from becoming entrenched. Analysts have warned that renewed US-Canada trade tensions could complicate the inflation outlook here in the United States and also disrupt supply chains. And here's the bigger issue. Uncertainty itself is economically expensive. Businesses don't just care about today's tariffs. They care about whether the tariff will still exist, let's say 6 months from now, 12 months from now. They care about whether it will be 10%, 25%, or 50%. They care about whether another tariff will suddenly, all of a sudden, be announced by the Trump administration on a different product. And certainly they care about whether they should build a factory let's say in Michigan or in Ontario or Mexico. So investment decisions become very, very difficult, in other words. And when investment decisions become harder, when they become effectively impossible to determine, economic growth suffers. This is why Trump's trade war deserves to be judged not by how aggressive the tariff announcement sounds, but by what it actually accomplishes. Does it reduce consumer prices? Does it increase productivity? Does it attract sustainable investment? Does it make American companies more competitive globally? Does it create durable manufacturing jobs, or does it simply replace one tax with another? Because there is a fundamental difference between protecting an industry temporarily and making that industry competitive. Protection can shield a company from competition, but it doesn't necessarily make that company more productive. And if protection becomes permanent, companies can become dependent on it. That is the danger of Trump's strategy. The United States has enormous economic power. It has the world's largest consumer market. It has deep capital markets, enormous technical advantages, and of course, tremendous geopolitical influence. Washington does not need to destroy its relationship with Canada to exercise that power. In fact, the opposite may be true. The United States and Canada have something that most countries would desperately like to have: a massive integrated North American economic system sitting next to each other, connected by infrastructure, energy networks, transportation systems, capital, and supply chains. That should be a strategic advantage that Washington should explore. Well, instead, Washington is turning this into a bargaining chip. And the danger is that bargaining chips can be spent only once. If Canada concludes that the United States is no longer a reliable trading partner, Ottawa has every incentive to diversify. And if US companies conclude that Canadian inputs are too politically risky, they will restructure too. If Canadian companies conclude that the American market can suddenly be closed by presidential decree, they will search for other customers. And of course, if all of those things happen simultaneously, the economic relationship that took decades and decades to build could begin to unravel. That is the real cost of Trump's trade war. It isn't simply the price of a Canadian product at a US store. It's the possibility that Washington is destroying one of the greatest economic advantages that it has in pursuit of a strategy that may not deliver what it promises. Trump wants to prove that the United States has leverage over Canada, and he certainly does, but the more important question is whether he is using that leverage wisely, because economic power isn't just about how much pressure you can apply on your opponent, on your partner. It's about knowing when applying pressure that it does destroy more value than it creates. And right now, US trade war with Canada is beginning to look less like a carefully calculated economic strategy, which of course was never really the case if we're being honest, but it is more of a expensive experiment, I would say. So the question is no longer whether Canada can withstand Trump's tariffs and his aggression. The question is whether the United States can impose these tariffs without ultimately hurting itself. I hope that you enjoyed this update. If that's the case, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, Substack, or Patreon. Follow me on alternative social media channels where I post 24/7 in many cases, and I would love to see you there as well. Follow the links in the description below. That's where I usually try to connect my platforms. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care.